Hi, my name is Nariba Shepherd.
And I'm Justin Arnett Graham.
And this is Terms of Service.
Good morning, happy day, and happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yes.
I feel like my body just naturally wakes up at the crack of ass on Sundays now because of podcast recording days.
That's fair.
And my
But think of how many things
it.
you get to do after we're done.
Sleep?
That, because I look forward to that.
I mean, okay, so in reality, I also have Ryan and Elaine of Big Kids, their baby shower today. So in the future, when this drops,
Ryan
they're going to have a
Elaine.
whole ass baby.
That's amazing.
And then in
How
future,
many times have we shouted out Ryan Pfeiffer on this?
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And another one, thank you. Go on. Go on.
And in future now, when this drops, it will be family time with my sister and sister-in-law doing all the Chicago fixins, including, I think I'm going to take them to Wiener Circle just for torture.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Chicago institution.
Yeah.
But, and this will be controversial, and I stand by what I say because I'm saying it with my entire fucking chest here.
Okay.
I don't think that Winter Circle needed to get a bar. Because they did like this remodel. It's a whole different thing. I want the Winter Circle that does the, questionable marketing,
Have you been there
which
since,
I love.
Have you been there since the bar?
No.
It's fucking beautiful.
I'm sure it's beautiful.
A huge
but
patio.
I want.
You want them to be limited and not grow and be bigger than they are?
Okay, I never, ever, for the record, would never say that about anyone. It's nostalgia for me. I want my hot dog.
It's all
and
still there.
I know it is.
It's just plus. It's like
It's
like the
plus,
Disney
plus.
Plus
I know.
of it. You got Hulu, but then Disney was like, "But you want this?" And you didn't know
And
you
then
wanted
Disney
it.
went ahead and bought
now you're
Hulu.
watching like Marvel movies for no reason. That's what it's like.
Okay.
So I got dogs, and then they were like, "We have frozen beverages in the back." And you walk back there, and I'm like,
No.
I didn't know that I needed a slushie filled with booze with my wiener.
Do you?
I said it.
Well played.
I meant it.
So that reminds me of something that I've always had an opinion about because I just think I'm a purist.
Mm-hmm.
So Matchbox is one of my favorite bars in the entire city. And
should we do the come in? Because our guest looks excited that you mentioned Matchbox.
Well, yes, of
right.
course. Yeah.
Welcome.
So, yes. Hi. Intro. Hello, guest. I'm not going to intro this anymore because I'm wildly excited and I will let you speak for yourself.
Yes.
Come on
Hi,
in,
friends.
Casey.
Hello.
Happy Sunday. Thank
Happy
you for
Sunday.
having me here.
Absolutely.
Tell us how you feel about Matchbox.
So Matchbox was one of the first, I quote, industry bars that I was introduced to. So we love Matchbox.
Yes,
I don't know her.
It's at Chicago.
I'm terrible with directions and street names, so
Same.
I'm going to let you take the reins on this one.
So it's at like Chicago and Milwaukee. It's not too far from here. It is on the. I'll just say that when things are on an angle in the city, I just get super confused. Even though I'm.
It's on the corner.
It's on the corner. Yeah, it's on the corner. It's across the street from a Subway and a pizza spot.
I think there's a CVS across the street,
There's
too.
a CVS across the street from
Is
there.
it a blue line?
Well, it's off the
situation?
Chicago Blue Line stop.
Okay.
Yeah,
now
it's right
I know
there.
where we're at.
It's right there.
Thank you for
Yeah.
She's
putting
been there. It
landmarks.
sounds like she's
I've not been to
a drink.
Matchbox, but I
Okay,
know
but
that
you-
area. So
Yeah, and so just speaking about what you had mentioned in regards to Wiener Circle, I cannot think about Matchbox as it is today without thinking of all of the wonderful history that I have experienced there because, as a ton of people know, I used to work at Small Bar, 2049 West Division, and that crew, just over time, they bartended at Matchbox, and it was just kind of like an industry handshake to always go there and check in on one another. And it's called Matchbox for a fucking reason. It is tiny in there. It is absolutely tiny in there. But I mean, that is prime real estate for true Chicago drinking. And what it is now, it still has that intimacy, but it's also just expanded into kind of like this lush environment in the back. And I'm just like, God damn it, you give me a delicious margarita, because they make some of the best margaritas in the entire city of Chicago.
So I feel like I've been there.
Yes.
I feel
because
like
it
I've
has
been
the
there.
Powdered sugar rim.
No, not for drinks, but did Kristen do Kristen Kaza? Krista?
So it was attached to what is it?
The gay one?
No. Wait, what? No.
I'm like, is it the gay one?
No, it was attached to Palm something. Silver Palm. Okay. So Silver Palm was a restaurant, which is now defunct. And Matchbox was, just attached to it. Silver Palm was great because way back in the day, Anthony Bourdain called that fried chicken sandwich like the best fried chicken sandwich in America. And then people just kind of flocked to it. As always, rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain. But so, yeah, that was the restaurant for Matchbox. And when it closed, when Silver Palm closed, people were like, is Matchbox gonna go anywhere, and so on and so forth. But thankfully it didn't. And it changed hands and ownership. And now again, it's a bit more lush. But when you're in Matchbox specifically, it truly feels like Chicago. Okay. And since you have family visiting, I would highly recommend that you go and check it out. Sit at the bar.
I'm down to do that.
Yeah.
However, my sister is requesting a green apple martini the way that it was. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
She is not a real drinker. I love her, but she thought that light beer meant less alcohol content.
That's precious.
So.
That's precious.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we can talk about that more offline.
Yeah.
But here's a challenge. Take her to Matchbox and have her order that and see what happens. I think that would be a fun experiment.
I mean, that's the same as Wiener Circle. So we've come full circle.
Absolutely.
I think we need to finish off this trip with some desserts.
I mean,
let's go. Let's talk about it.
Where are we coming?
But before we get into that, as per tradition.
So we stopped talking about this earlier because she was like, what do you think my sign is?
I may have done some homework.
Okay.
I listened to some of the podcasts, of course. Why not?
Well, thank you. I mean, we're out there. Thank you.
Why am I blushing?
Thank you. So Nariba has a hard time taking in these compliments.
Someone listen.
Digest it. Take it all.
Yeah.
Someone at California Clipper recognized me based on my voice from the podcast. And I quickly was like...
I love that so much.
I looked at my friends and I was like, y'all need to finish your drinks because we need to leave immediately.
You're like, we need to go
I would
right
take
now.
that as the biggest compliment. Right. That's almost like, can I have your autograph?
Right.
I'm dying.
You're like, no.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just power through. And
so we're playing the game of you guessing Casey's sign.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was washing my hands in the bathroom and I was like, you have to have Sagittarius somewhere in your placements because it's very much like outside energy, but very focused. And I feel like people don't recognize that about Sag energy a lot. But
would I disappoint you if I said I was a Leo?
Oh shit!
I know. Leo season just ended too.
This is too good.
I was like,
were you borderline Leo?
Yes. It was either Sagittarius or Leo.
Go with your gut, girlfriend.
Well, we were talking about intuition and I was like, there's no way. I was wrong.
Yes, intuition. We both brought a box of donuts.
Yes.
We were on the same wavelength. We were thinking about breakfast, donuts, and coffee.
Yeah. I will say, and every time that we get a Leo with us, for the record, we love everybody. We love everyone. We love everyone. It's just a different energy. But specifically
Leo men.
Okay.
I'm going to clarify it. It's specifically Leo men. And as an Aries, also Aries men, get it together.
Okay.
Literally. Just like find something to hold on to and keep you tethered to reality. Okay. Because it's crazy.
Damn. So Casey, when's your birthday?
August 1st. I just had my 30th.
Oh,
happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
Also, my mother's birthday is August 2nd.
Love that.
Yes. Different years. Shout out to Dolores.
That's okay. But one natural born leader.
Yes.
Fire sign.
Yeah.
But wait, do you have Sagittarius in your placements?
I don't think so.
Really?
Oh.
Like
how
none
would
of
we
your
know?
Houses?
Your chart?
Well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah. For sure.
Co-star it
I'm
up
going to
or
need all the
something.
details, and then we can figure it out. But yes, as far as I know,
no. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's just,
all things Leo, all things
Leo. We're going to put that on some merch. We're going to put that on some merch.
Are you?
the look that you're giving me is making me second guessing.
Can I get 10% of that shirt, though?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, there's royalties attached. Don't you worry about it. I was like, that came from you. No. So
I will accept.
Fair. So
I mean, okay, so retrospectively, it makes sense that you would have big Leo energy because you have manifested a lot of the things that we're gonna get into.
I was telling Justin earlier, I said, I feel like I've manifested my entire career.
Oh, and before we get into all of that, let's get a little bit of background.
Yes.
Where are you
from? My
from?
gosh, I didn't even tell people.
Yeah.
Okay,
this is the time.
First and last name, right? Do we need to go through all the drills?
Go for it.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Some people might know me on social media as Casey Nicole, just because not necessarily a stage name, but when we get to all the dirty details of like where we have arrived now, I've kind of always gone by Casey Nicole.
Okay.
My full name is Casey Nicole Duty. As you can assume, so many jokes with that last name.
Yep.
Duty. Doody. And now I've just embraced it. So Casey Duty.
Yes.
There we go.
All things sweet in life. You might have tried some desserts in Chicago, New York, or Dallas. Yes. So pastry chef in town. Loving life. All things sweet.
Where do you hail from? Are you from
Chicago. Grew up in Naperville.
Okay.
Oh, that's
funny enough.
Yes.
The land of zero gravity. Yes.
Never went. But yes, I've heard of it.
Lemonade on the rocks. Okay. Pepsi.
Whenever you say lemonade on the rocks, it makes
that was
me
zero gravity.
Physically upset. I'm like, that is just a glass of lemonade.
It's just a glass of juice, but they charged you $6 if you were a teenager. I was there one time. If anyone wants to know the story, it was one time. You have to go back to, I want to say like a mid-season episode of season 2, where I talk about the absolutely foolish reason why I was there. And for those of you that do not know what zero gravity was, it was a adult and teenager nightclub.
It was a high school nightclub.
But adults were allowed to be there with booze.
We had one of those.
I was never there, but that's interesting.
It was very interesting. And you were separated, but I don't know. But I remember specifically the bartender was just like, your lemonade on the rocks. And I was like, all right.
Well, they were also charging $6 because they wanted to prepare you for what it would be like when you had to order like an actual drink at a bar. Be like, it will be overpriced.
Okay, that is
prepare.
That's fair.
You know,
that's fair. So I guess I should give a shout out to. No, I'm not doing.
They're not open.
No.
I love how you associated that with Naperville. I think that's
Oh,
hilarious.
That is the only thing I know about Naperville.
Naperville is where
I
It's
know
not
where
even in Naperville.
It's not?
I don't think so. I just remember seeing it because this will segue into another conversation. So, grew up in the restaurant industry. My dad and uncle, what was my uncle's restaurant? Onorilio's Pizza in Downers Grove.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Nice.
I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
So, yes, I mean, on the drives there, you'd pass it. So, that's funny that you mention it.
Yeah, I cannot hear it without immediately thinking of that deep bass and those super sweet soft drinks. so that's just how I feel.
Hilarious.
They were only giving you syrup shots.
You know what?
From the gun.
I'm
You know
pretty
what I
sure.
mean?
I'm pretty sure those were $8. So it's fine. It's fine. We had it back then. Inflation, honey, it's probably like 13.
It's
now,
happening.
You know,
Inflation started there and never stopped.
that is correct. And also, wild fun fact
Oh, God.
about zero gravity.
Yes.
They do not exist, but there was a bar here in the city, and I cannot recall it off the top of my head, but you know how different concepts and establishments will dress up for Halloween.
Yes.
This concept dressed up as zero gravity.
That's
and
amazing.
Zero Gravity sent a cease and desist to this concept.
Gross.
Without even existing any longer.
Oh, butt hurt.
It's amazing. So they're still out here. Still out here.
Wow.
Yeah, I can believe
Maybe
it.
they've started their own like beverage line. And
God.
it's just like a bottle of lemonade on the rocks.
Also, for nostalgia purposes, if anyone from Zero Gravity is listening, feel free to reach out to us at
How did I know that was
connectedservice.media. You know,
How
just,
did I know that was
Always,
coming?
if Justin is breathing, he's making connections.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
You know?
I mean, but that segues into a whole nother conversation of why we do what we do, right?
No, absolutely. Yes.
So wait, so Naperville is where you grew up?
Yes.
I go there from time to time on occasion because one of my friends from high school I went to high school in Jersey, married a guy from Naperville. And
God bless her.
she is like the only Hispanic person in her neighborhood. But they always do like really big parties and stuff because she has 2 kids, Nolan and Marcy. I love you so much. And that's why I go to Naperville, to be around tiny humans and hang out in a backyard and be weirded out by the
nice.
Uber driver from the
That
train
is
station.
what it is,
to
though.
the
It's a
house.
beautiful way to raise a family.
Yes.
That's
that
exactly
part.
what it is. Great school systems, safe neighborhoods, and then you come down to the city for fun.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, when I think of like how I grew up, man, I hated the damn suburbs. Absolutely hated it. But now that I'm older, I'm just like, you know what?
It's there.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I could not do
I
it.
appreciate the existence of suburbs. I get it.
Yes, I'm really thankful for my quiet street.
Yeah.
You know, that's my little suburb. But within
That's how
you
I
know, the
felt
city.
about Rogers Park. But now I'm in Albany Park. And
Okay.
it's just so many people.
That's, I mean,
They got a lot of good food though. So
yeah,
you're gonna
Albany
have
Park is
to
fire.
come do that.
They got doubles.
Please tell me what a double is.
Please, Nariba. The masses are waiting.
Well, I feel like in season 2, I talked about doubles a lot, but it is a street food from Trinidad that is
Delicious.
vegan by nature and delicious. It is 2 pieces of curried fried dough stuffed with, or like not stuffed with, because when you say stuffed, people think of like a pocket, but it's basically a sandwich with curry, chickpeas, and cucumber chutney, a mango sauce, pepper sauce, and tamarind sauce. You don't have to get all the sauces unless you know what you're doing. I'm judging people that don't put all of them in there. Why would you not want more flavor? Anyway, it's like cheap as fuck to make, and there are actually 2 spots in Chicago now that do it. So
Wonderful.
do some Googling, check it out. Your
And
girl
what would,
is
Sounds
they,
amazing.
what would they Google?
just literally Trinidadian doubles in Chicago. Miss D's Roti Shop just opened up actual location. She was doing catering. That's literally like the Instagram handle for her. Just underscore between Ms. and D's Roti Shop.
Amazing.
So yeah, check it out.
Shout
she
out
does
to
great
them.
work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Justin is dragging me because he keeps requesting it. And a bitch is tired. I
mean,
just
that's fair.
moved.
That's fair.
I be working.
That's fair. I'm going to see if we can get the general public
to shame me.
No, no, to apply pressure. And, maybe one day. And there's no expiration date on this.
I mean,
it's just one day.
we see each other like on the reg. We like do see each other on the reg sometimes now.
I know.
How did you fit me into your schedule?
Okay, you know what? Let's go back to our guest because
But how did
it
you
is
leave
never that.
Naperville?
I left Naperville because I pursued, I would call it a childhood dream. So I grew up dancing in studios, cheerleading, and
Big Leo energy.
yeah, somehow cultivated this dream of being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Oh.
I know.
All
And then you
right.
did that shit.
So
though.
I left Chicago or Naperville. I was actually going to Columbia
Also,
College
shout out
for
to
a little
you
bit.
for correcting yourself
Yes,
on that.
yes.
Shout out, I do not want us to move past this without that acknowledgement.
I'm going through the timeline in my head and I'm like, wait a second. No, before I left, I was going to Columbia College. So that's a whole nother story too, right?
Right? Mm-hmm.
So I had this artsy fartsy moment where I thought that I was going to be in fashion merchandising. Could not draw to save my life.
Sorry.
And
I feel that.
Me
my
neither.
fashion instructor was a BCBG designer.
Okay.
I mean,
That was a time.
That was the time. So we're talking
Yeah.
like 10 years ago. BCBG, amazing designer. And that was, I would quote, mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hated it.
Damn.
I really did.
I mean, that's real.
So I remember having a
But good on you for
conversation.
actually acknowledging that instead of, because I also feel like that's a little bit of a generational thing to where you just kind of like put your head down, you
And
do the
power
work.
through it.
Exactly. You're just like, this isn't fulfilling to me, but maybe one day when I retire, I can actually enjoy my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or just continue, finish it to say you did it,
Right.
get your degree and move on.
Yeah.
Right.
I specifically remember having this conversation with my mom because I was failing some of my classes, again, because I could not draw and I just was not connecting with what that industry really was.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I love baking. I love, our big family dinners. My mom was like Betty Crocker in the kitchen. I mean, it was out of a box, but we always had treats laying around.
Yeah.
We always
shame.
had family recipes.
That's
Grandma's
kind of like a thing
Texas
that I
chocolate
remember.
cake.
That's one of the things that I actually kind of miss about the suburbs. You
The bakeries and
but also
Or just
going
people
over, like,
cooking.
yeah, like you go over to like your friend's house and their mom has just like food
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
obviously my mom did the same, but I was like,
I'm waiting
like,
for that
oh.
to happen in my life.
yeah, it doesn't
Where
really
like
happen in
someone just
adulthood
comes
like
over
that.
and they're like, "Oh, you
I was
got
always
anything
taught you
fresh?"
don't come over empty-handed. So it was always,
Yeah.
bring a box of Italian cookies or,
Yeah.
go to the store and,
Right.
make a casserole. Whatever the event
required.
required, yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, gosh, when we were kids, we'd go to Wolf's Bakery with my grandfather. And I mean, coffee cakes, danishes, donuts, the Italian cookies. Grew up on that stuff. So
Wow.
it was almost like it was already in my blood.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember having that conversation with my mom, and she's like, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I think, I want to be like the next Giada.
Oh my god.
I love watching Big Network. I
Yes.
love baking. I just remember
yeah.
literally saying out loud, I want to be like the next Giada, but pastry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so it kind of cultivated this journey to culinary school.
Okay.
And in that mix, I was training and did the whole Dallas Cowboys cheerleader thing. I mean, gosh, I auditioned 3 times. No, I'm sorry, 2 times. Was going to go for a third, but the second time I auditioned, I was living in Dallas. I
That
was
is
going to
fascinating,
culinary
by the
school.
way. Yeah.
I mean, it starts off with a group of 400 girls, goes down to 2, down to 150. I mean, there's multiple rounds. It's
Yeah.
a, it's a 2-month, 3-month
I can only imagine.
documented TV show audition.
Wow.
And I moved to
Would
Dallas.
one say it's like making the band?
Oh,
Yeah, no, absolutely, just like that. But this is on CMT.
Yeah.
And season 7, shout out Making the Team season 7, had a couple little.
I didn't even know this was a show.
Oh, yeah.
Please tell me more
it's a
about
whole
this.
thing. It's a whole thing.
You
Absolutely.
said it's on CMT?
It is. I don't know if they do it anymore.
I mean, I'm sure the
it's
episodes
been-
exist, though.
Oh, yes.
YouTube is real.
And I did just shout out this season. Okay. Don't look it up. Season 7.
So, Casey, that will now be a part of your promo for this episode. Please continue. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. So I was in culinary school at the time, and I remember, just because of auditions and training and diets and working out, I would lie to my instructors and say I couldn't eat it. I was allergic. I found every excuse in school just to kind of take a step back and put that dream first. And I ended up getting cut for weight probation, funny enough. And I did not make the final team, but I have amazing friends that have outlived, that entire situation
Yeah,
that I
I
still
may-
talk to this day.
Amazing.
Yeah, if I may ask,
Yes.
only if you're comfortable.
This is
for
an open
those
book.
that are not familiar with like weight probation, if you could just kind of touch upon
so
that.
during auditions, there was a point in time where, and we had just finished doing our dance in front of the judges and going through multiple, rounds of interviews and speaking and slating is what they called it, when you're in front of, a group of judges and you're giving your spiel, so slating. And I specifically remember, you pair off in your friends groups and you sit down and it's like a waiting game. And I was eating a turkey wrap. I had one of those like flat outs with lettuce and turkey and hummus and bell peppers in it, stuffing my face because it was like the first thing I ate that day.
Yeah.
And literally mid bite, and they're like, "All right, ladies, line up and step on the scale."
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. It was 10 years ago. It was a part of life.
I don't like any of that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird
Damn.
to talk about, but this is an open book. This is
Yeah.
exactly why we do this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was able to focus, fully immerse myself in culinary school. I was a student at the Art Institute in Dallas, finished, and just didn't feel like I grasped enough. And maybe that was my own doing.
Okay.
And just because of the situation and what
Did you feel that like through because of the Dallas
Sure. the cheerleading
Yeah,
and the
Dallas
audition.
For the sports shows.
yeah for the sports shows, did you feel like you were putting pressure on yourself, or were you kind of taking the pressure that others were placing on you?
Oh, it was myself entirely.
Okay.
I wanted it so bad, and I'm the type of person, if I want it, I am going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Not going to get it, but I will make it happen.
Yes.
And the fact that it was so out of my control, I think that's where the pressure came from.
Yeah.
And then, society steps in and portrays a picture that might not entirely all be there.
Yeah.
So,
Fire signs don't
yes.
work well under too much structure. Like, we need structure, but we don't
We kinda
want. We
make
want to
our
be in
own.
charge
Yeah.
of our own structure. You know what I mean? So I can
Makes
see
sense.
you just being
Rewriting the
like, willing
rules,
It.
yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
So I ended up graduating the Art Institute and came back home. And at that point, when I felt like I just didn't grasp enough of that pastry world, I attended the French pastry school. And that's really what boosted the next 8-9 years. Had some amazing instructors, connected with some amazing people in town, staged all over. And that's kind of where my career began. Started in Chicago, ended up moving to Dallas after doing 3 years in the city. I became an executive pastry chef at a very young age. I was 23, going to be 24. Speaking of Leos and being that natural born leader, I feel like that's really where that base came from, that foundation. And I was the pastry chef at the Dallas Country Club. So serendipitous, actually tattooed on me.
Oh.
A serendipity.
Yeah.
It may not have been DCC, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, but I was the executive pastry chef for 5 years at the Dallas Country Club, DCC.
There you go.
If that doesn't give you chills.
I mean, it did. I was like, I see what's happening.
Manifestation.
Yes. So it just was the wrong DCC. And I had an amazing 5 years there.
Did you go in just like doing pastry solely, or was it like pastry and salads, like cold prep and stuff?
I see what you mean, like Garmo and cold line. Desserts come off of Garmo and cold line a lot, but no, I was lucky enough to always have my own pastry kitchen or own pastry line and my own pastry team. And that's where I really learned how to be a mentor, was because I had this team of 5-6 people that depended on me every single day, whether it was events or the 3 outlets or the big golf tournaments that were going on. And we had the most elite members. I mean, it was a private club, 7-year wait list.
Wow.
I don't think I'm allowed to disclose the initiation fee, but hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Money.
Highland Park. I was very blessed. Very blessed. You know, there I was able to create an internship program. I worked with the horticulture team, and we were able to do, garden to table, grew all the herbs, the edible flowers, had this greenhouse system. At least we tried. We did try. I mean, were we able to use all the herbs we grew? No, because we had so much we didn't even know what to do with. And then that led into the compost program, and how we could segue into meshing the two and just really trying to build something special, because country clubs behind closed doors, it's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
I don't know about her.
Yeah, well, it's also interesting because kind of what I'm hearing is something that we have referred to quite a bit in the past. It's, like commit to the try.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you didn't have all of the answers, you are still committed to like trying to figure out.
I love that you say that, because I hate the phrase fake it till you make it.
Oh my God.
I absolutely hate it.
That's
so
my
I have
life.
reworded it and kind of coined it as like my slogan. And I say, we didn't have to fake it to make it. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as you're trying, you're not faking it.
Well, and I know, I'm looking at Reba because
heavy fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But you're
I'm just
not,
like-
because you're trying, you're doing.
Yeah.
Am I though?
And even if you don't have all
I feel
the
like I'm
answers-
just literally showing up and doing my best. And like, if people want to see that as me trying, then I'm like, sure, go for it. But like, I just don't
But you are.
care anymore. I'm just doing what I want to do.
But
and
that
that's
goes
it.
into the conversation of people having their own perception of you. Like, you've arrived as yourself.
Yeah.
You are being your truest self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that point, who the fuck cares?
Yep.
Amen.
Yep.
Love
It's
it.
like that
Yeah.
TikTok. What does it say? It's like, what did you care about in the when in your 20s that you don't care about now in your 30s?
That's a hard
and I was
one.
just
Yeah.
like,
Maybe
everything.
people's opinions.
Yeah, I'm just like literally everything.
Yeah, I am happily in my 30s, and when I think I was around like 26, 27, I could not wait to be in my 30s for a
You and me both.
multitude of
I was
reasons.
so excited to turn 30
Yeah.
this month.
Yeah.
And if anyone followed along on social media, did it real big in Miami, then came home and ate my way through Chicago. And this is how much love this industry really gives.
Yeah.
Anywhere we went to dinner, had a candle in my dessert. And so friends started to say, is this a joke? Like, you're on your 11th wish. And I said, keep it coming.
You're like, this is the new tradition. Okay. Like, you're like, this is what
next
we're doing
year,
here.
can we get 12 candles?
Right. I mean,
I
12
turned
desserts?
30 in the pandemic.
You're never
some catching
going to
up to
not
do.
forget that birthday.
I
never.
wore a rose gold shorts romper, and it was just my boyfriend and my roommate at the time. And they watched me do shambongs for a long time.
I have yet to ever do one. Love champagne, but I've never done a champagne.
I mean, I basically was a frat boy in college. I played rugby. So, like, I had, like, keg stands, drinking beer from a cleat when you make a try during Saturday
I've
rugby
asked you
games.
if you've played Edward 40 Hands.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible game.
See, I didn't
The
get
trick
any
is
of
to
these.
drink one first
experiences.
so that you can use the bathroom.
No.
And
no.
then you move on to the second one. Because you don't want too warm, half drank 40s.
Well, but then also the main point of Edward 40 Hands
yes.
is as you're, downing this booze, you'll eventually have to use the restroom.
Yes.
And when your hands are now cans,
Yeah.
that is impossible.
Well, it's bottles.
You guys are speaking a foreign language to me because I
it's
did
terrible.
not have
Terrible.
any frat sorority experience. I went to private art school. I went to art school.
No, I mean,
Oh,
this
I-
was very.
I wasn't
this
in
was
either of
very
those,
art
but-
school. Yeah, on this side, they're like, oh
Maybe
yeah.
I just went to a really boring school.
I don't.
I mean,
Probably.
Texas be conservative in a lot of ways. So maybe they were just like on their best behavior in that way.
Oh no, Dallas was one big party.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how did you not?
Not these like college fraternity, sorority.
Yeah, no, it was
None of that.
Well,
I was also a very good girl. And it's
And
probably
I lived in
roots.
Columbus, Ohio. Like that was a thing. So shout out to my friends still in Columbus, but that was a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
The Ohio State University. Yeah.
Can't wait for you to take me around, show me things.
Can't wait to go back.
That smile says it all.
Cannot wait. Actually, to further that smile, my dear friend Shatara Walters, she always gives me a hard time because she lives in Columbus, and anytime I see her, she comes to Chicago. If you're coming to Chicago, I don't need to go to Columbus. That's just how
Period.
I feel.
Exclamation point.
Period.com. And
That's why I stopped visiting my family, so that they would be forced to come here.
See, my entire
That's
family
different.
lives here. I was the only one. Well, my sister followed me, but I was the only one who ever moved away. So it was Dallas and then New York City. I felt like I had arrived as soon as I lived in New York.
How
Like,
do you feel
this
about New York?
is it.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. So I moved to New York in
someone that lived there, give it to me straight.
2018, going into 2019. Literally, and this was not planned. It was not noticed until I was getting on the plane that day to move to New York City. It was September 11th. Wild, right?
Yeah.
So
The
it's kind of
silence.
like
Yeah.
this set the tone a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
So of course I followed a boy, and he was a chef, and I knew that I wanted to work in New York from early on in my career. You know, speaking of manifesting, and I used to have these notebooks full of just jotted dreams and goals and places I wanted to work and just all the things on paper, literally from a mental state written to a perceived and thought out, lived dream, like a job.
Yeah, right.
all the things.
Yeah.
So one of them on there, obviously, was Per Se. We
know
all
her.
know TK,
Yeah.
Per Se,
Yeah.
all of that. And we're speaking, what, five years ago almost? It was a big deal. Huge deal. And I had moved there. I was staging. The problem also was
It's in the
is
Time Warner building, right? Yeah.
yes, in
Yeah.
Columbus Circle.
Yeah, Columbus Circle. Yeah, that's right.
The issue was is I didn't do enough research to when we got there to be like, oh, this is going to be easy. You know, just you walk in somewhere, apartment, you know, get a lease. No, it's not like Chicago or Dallas where they just pull up your credit score or pull up, you know, what they need to, and you sign off on something.
They're like,
and you
here are
pay
the
rent.
keys. We'll see you next time.
Have fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
no.
break our shit.
I was living in hotel to hotel to hotel,
It
literally
takes time.
draining savings, racking up credit cards. I mean, it.
Sounds like New York to me.
Yes.
I mean,
So it was staging at per se.
but
It was
you did
amazing.
not turn into Anna Delvey.
Nope, I did not.
The Wire is coming.
I did not.
You know, there you go.
And they offered me a job. And at that point in time, it was $15 an hour.
That's what I was about to ask. How much money are they not paying you to do it?
Damn.
The people were amazing. The
Yep.
They always
experience
are.
was amazing.
It
But
always
this
is.
where the universe delivered, right? So I'm getting ready, you know, job searching, whatnot. And Justin, you know this because of how we met, but Valrhona plays
Yeah.
a huge part in my journey and this career and everything that I've done. And someone had passed off my resume, meaning someone in the company of Valrhona passed off my resume. Sebastian Roxell got it. Unfortunately, he did not have a position, but he said, I have a friend. He's an amazing pastry chef. I think he'd be a great mentor. Are you looking for a pastry soup position? I said, at this point, I'll take, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It was going to be a pastry cook at per se, but pastry soup sounded amazing because when you're an executive pastry chef at 23 and you're somewhere for 5 years,
Yep.
the ego kind of plays in and says, hey, I don't want to take a step down to do anything. And of
Yeah.
course,
Especially 23.
mid-20s
Yeah,
and, you know, you just think you're the shit.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so my resume ended up landing in the hands of Richard Capizzi, and he was Thomas Keller's pastry chef.
Yeah.
He helped write the Bouchon Bakery cookbook.
Damn.
So he called me. He's like, can you come in? You have to do a tasting. Just raid the coolers, make 3 dishes, ice cream sorbet. And I said, yeah, tomorrow, let's do it.
Damn.
Prepped one day, presented it the next, and he said, when can you start? So
Magic.
again, serendipity, right? So
Yes.
I went there in pursuit of per se, and I got just that. A
And
pastry
more.
soup position,
Yeah.
a better paying job to live a better life,
Right.
and I got the mentorship of his old pastry chef who wrote the Bouchon Bakery cookbook, which
Yeah.
is amazing. One of my favorite cookbooks.
Yes, that's.
I'm just like,
Yeah, help me out here. How do I even respond to that? Because that's phenomenal.
I don't know. It's
And it also like doesn't sound real,
yeah.
but I know that it is. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I,
I mean,
like the way
when
that your like forward energy is like, I'm going to do this thing and like just do it. And mine was like I had a plan and I gave myself 10 years and I did it in 8. But the way that you were like, you know, when you pastry chefed, executive pastry chefed for 5 years, and then you're like, I don't want to take a step down. I was the opposite, where I was like, I want to sous chef for someone with a lot of experience so I can learn how to balance. I was looking for someone who had a family
1000%.
and like own their space. And like, how did you do that? How are you maintaining a balance between your life and your family type situation? But you were like, these are the things that I want to do. And the universe delivered it in multiple versions.
It was not easy, though. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah,
I
for
mean, I
sure.
remember when I say I job hunted, I mean, it was every single day, hours of the day.
Job hunting is a job.
Yeah.
It is. No, literally.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I'm not going to say the name, I'm not going to say the name of the chef, I'm not going to say the name of anything that has to pertain to what I'm about to say. I remember applying for a job, seeking it through, again, in New York City. And I don't know if it was his assistant or who it was, but she was conducting the phone interview. And she had said, well, you're basically just a production chef at a country club.
No.
And that kind of rocked me to my core because I'm like,
Yeah.
New York's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But still, that's rude as fuck.
yeah, extremely.
At that time, though, we weren't segueing into what now has evolved as, you can't speak that way anymore.
No. Well, they still do it.
They still try.
Yeah.
They still try.
But we know too much.
Yes, exactly.
Now we do know too much.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, spent almost 2 years in New York City. Lived in Queens, Astoria. Loved.
Oh, yes.
Love the neighborhood. I mean, you could walk out your front door, go to the market, the bodegas, coffee everywhere, bagels.
Oh,
I miss a hero.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I had one on the corner.
yeah.
Yes.
Didn't have a washer or dryer, but you'd have to do the wash and fold. So you'd have
Yes.
to go downstairs,
Yep.
bring your clothes down in a garbage bag,
Yes.
weigh it, have
Yeah.
them wash and fold it. So
Yeah. And you would be in a bodega, and if the bodega does not have a cat, then it's not a
not real.
bodega. No,
It's not real.
at all. If they don't have a house
I
cat,
remember going to my first bodega, and this might be, you could be like, oh, you're such a Naperville kid. I just remember walking in and being like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what is this?
Anything goes.
What is
Anything
this? Where
goes.
am I? What am I doing? Like,
You're grocery
there's-
shopping.
There's a bunch of sandwiches in a case right now. Is it okay to eat it? You know what
Yes,
I mean?
yeah,
Like it was
yes,
just
yep.
so not cultured for me. I learned how to be cultured living in New York City.
yeah.
And that was a huge part in who I am now. I'm in complete survival mode. I remember
Right.
days of hoping that if I rubbed pennies together, money would appear.
Yep.
Yeah.
New York. She wild.
It was such a great experience,
Yeah.
though. I would never take it back.
And also, it's a humbling experience.
Very
Yes,
humbling.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Very humbling.
New York does. Okay, so I feel like it has a reverse effect if you were born there. It gives you like a cockiness
Mhm.
that like supersedes any other city that I've lived in. Like
I
they
can
know.
see that.
And the thing is like New Yorkers will talk shit about other boroughs like they're not all part of the same community.
That is correct.
Because in New York,
they're like,
you're
I will
not.
never
They're like,
go.
we are all
They're
different.
like,
That's
I'll
the
never
first
go to
thing
the
to be like,
Bronx.
where do you
And I
live?
was just like,
Yeah.
that's not.
It's
Oh,
one of
yeah.
the first questions. Where do you live?
Yeah.
What neighborhood? What and too with like public transportation, like, oh, what line do you take?
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, like Brooklyn will talk about, Queens. Queens would be like, oh, I'll never go to Long Island. I was just like, have y'all looked at a map? It's literally the same land. Okay, like, I'm not understanding.
I just love how like people talk about Staten Island from New York. They're like, oh shit, I forgot that's
Never
us.
made it over there, to be quite honest.
It's so I went to high school in Jersey, and so oh damn, we got fancy. Wait, we're pausing.
Pause,
about that.
time out. We'll
Here,
talk about
pass
New
it-
York in
pass
a
it down.
second.
Oh,
yeah, I think that,
Look how pretty. Look at this ice.
right?
yeah, this,
The old Corey ice.
hold on.
Cheers,
hold on.
guys. Happy
Hold on.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Or as they say in the furniture business,
God.
chairs. It's fucking terrible. Yeah, it's the worst. So we're going to take a brief intermission here. So we have talked about in the past to where we want to share this platform and diversify it as wildly as possible. And this episode is supported via the beverage program by our wonderful friend Cheyenne English, aka Miss Perfect Pour. So thank you. And this looks amazing. And before I get into it, it is Death and Taxes, named after the Death and Taxes bar in Reno, Nevada. And it's vodka lemon with rosemary maple syrup.
It
And-
smells divine.
Oh my gosh. And it's served over a Corey ice cube.
Yes.
And we'll get into all things about Corey towards the end of this episode. But, oh my gosh.
Delish.
I love a candied orange. Is
this
orange?
candied?
Is this orange or lemon? Yes.
Orange. All right. This is beautiful. And this tastes amazing.
Yeah. I
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
is there alcohol in this at first?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so balanced that I
Yeah.
had to question.
Mm.
This would be what I would refer to as
This
a
is so
patillo
good.
pounder. A
A what?
patillo pounder.
A patio pounder.
Yes,
Yes. We
because
love a
it's
patio
fancier.
pounder over here. Yes.
I've been calling patios porches for the last 3 years because that's all it is. Because as soon as people get on a patio, they don't know how to act and they just turn. It's like,
I
is
have
this my porch?
nightmares
That's
of
real.
patio season.
Yeah.
You know
That's
this,
real.
like
Yeah.
any chef. I'm sorry, public, but
Yeah.
chefs hate patio season.
Yes.
Oh,
We hate it.
Why did you add so many more seats for no reason?
I mean,
Literally no
we
reason.
all know the answer to that.
Oh my God.
I was working for a company and we would do 1,000 covers a day. So patio season
No.
rocked us.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. And the hardest part too is always going from the kitchen to the patio and then having people complain, oh, my food's not hot. Well, yeah, it had to travel
you
a bit of
know,
a ways
yeah.
from the kitchen to make it to the patio.
Yeah, just like, it's okay. But
My
also it's not
nightmares were
okay.
like the baked Alaskas that needed to get lit on fire, and it'd be a windy Chicago day.
Absolutely
And-
the fuck not.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is
All
an
the things you have to
instant
think
treat.
about.
Right. Yeah. No, that's wild.
Delicious. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Dang.
Amazing.
That's a good one.
Amazing. And we have increased our beverage adjectives around here because we have called things delightful
Yes.
so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also delightful.
Yes.
Do we
lovely.
need a new word?
I mean, I really just like the word delightful.
Yeah, delightful is great.
I feel like people don't use it as much anymore. So I'm
This was a delight,
oversaturating
yeah. No,
the.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm like, so I'm oversaturating the industry with delightful. I also think that, oh man, I was talking to someone, probably an Uber driver. They do like to talk to me about like the word amazing because I was talking about getting
I
movers.
was just thinking about that. I was
And people
about to
just like-
piggyback off of what you were saying and say everybody always says the word amazing.
and I'm like, I'm
We
trying to
are
use
way
it
too
less.
in tune today.
I mean, it's the energy.
It is.
But people always use the word amazing. And I'm like, is this shattering your mind? Is it like
This is delicious.
inspiring?
Okay. Yes.
Like,
I called this amazing like 3 times
well,
because I
mean,
fucking
yes,
mean
we're
it.
all here for
Yes.
this.
Yes.
But I use it in reference to getting movers for the first time and watching them
That's amazing.
do their like thing.
It was a delight.
It was like, aw,
Yes.
Right?
It
I'm
was
just
a
playing
delight to
off all
have it.
these
Yes,
words right now.
Being able to hire movers,
Delightful.
That is delightful.
110%.
Okay, watching
I'm
them
going to
move
use that
all of your
word
shit is
all
amazing.
day today.
Yes, there you go. Yep.
Just like my mind was blown that a couch that took 30 minutes to move from the truck outside to the second floor of my building, 30 minutes, 5 people, took them 5 minutes to wrap it and like 4 minutes to get it to the truck, just 2 dudes. And I was like, and,
they
then
probably
get it
did-
into
and
a
they
new
probably
apartment.
didn't even have to pivot.
Nope. No, they did not.
No pivot.
And then they just
Movers
like,
are the best.
Yes,
spent
Move-tastic.
money.
Chicago,
Ever.
Yeah.
Move-tastic
Yeah.
Chicago, get it.
Well, there's also
Get
a
'em.
certain
They're
point.
great.
There's a certain point, and I feel like we talk a lot about this, not on an industry level, but just in regards to conversations. It's just like, oh, if you like help me move, I'll like, get
I'll
you some
pay you
pizza
in
and
pizza.
and beer. And it's like, bitch, at a certain point, you need to hire movers because we're getting too old for that shit. Okay?
My boyfriend tried to argue against movers, and I was like, sir, you literally have an appointment for a back doctor this month.
Right. Yeah.
What, like, where do you think we're moving?
Right.
I can't lift anything. I have no upper body strength.
You're
If
like,
I'm in
and
a
I'm not
fight,
laughing at the
no. If I'm in
upper
a
body
fight, if you
strength.
fall on the floor, it's over for you. I will stomp the shit out of you. But I have no
At that
upper
point,
body
you are
strength.
not moving.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm
at
just
that
like,
point, you're not
no.
moving. Exactly.
I was
so
like-
it's done.
I was
Yeah.
like, I will pay for the movers. You can
Yeah.
pay for other things,
Yeah.
but like, this is not a discussion.
Oh, the movers are coming.
The
You're
movers
like,
are
take
coming.
me out to dinner this week, honey.
yeah,
Please?
like
right.
he
And
took
have
care
somebody
of the
else
food
move
for
our
the
shit.
moving. Yeah, I'm just like, no. Mm-mm.
Everyone knows that moving sucks in general.
Yes.
So,
Wait. Okay, this is a good segue. Moving from New York back to Chicago.
COVID. Coronavirus.
Yes.
The panini.
Yes, the
So-
panini, the pterosaur,
The panisse.
yes, the ponderosa, all of the things, because
We're still
for
in
a
it.
while we,
I have some
you know,
good stories
everything
about this. I'm excited
was COVID and the pandemic, and we're just like, we're not going to say it anymore. So we're just like ponderosa, panini,
Pterosaur.
pterodactyl, all of it. But yeah, let's go.
Okay, so not that I didn't believe it was a thing, but when you're working in restaurants, and especially living in New York City,
Yeah.
Microcosm.
I didn't watch TV. I didn't have a TV. I didn't have time to watch TV.
We thought it was a joke.
I know. I didn't want
Like
to
in the
say that
industry?
on mic, but it's like,
That's where it was.
no, it definitely
Yeah.
was. So we're all working. It's like, oh, have you heard of this thing, called coronavirus? No.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we all have phones, but was I looking up viruses? No. I was up at 4 a.m. to get on a 5 a.m. train to work 15 hours a day.
Yep.
Right.
And sometimes I wouldn't step back on the train until 10:30, 11 to then go home, maybe sleep for 3-4 hours and do
Right.
it all over again.
Yeah.
So
Well, because this industry really just like, that's all there is.
And it's passion driven. So it's like
completely
on us
Yep.
to commit.
Yep.
1,000%. So obviously everyone talks in the kitchen. It's what everybody loves doing. And it became this topic of conversation. And at first it was like, no, we're not closing. Because you would hear about other cities and people kind of shutting their stuff down. And it was a lot of hearsay at that point. And I'll never forget the day when they said, okay, we're going to have to start cutting hourlies. And then that revolution kind of happened. And it went from the hourlies to some of the managers with the positions that really weren't needed to, at that point, not that they're not needed. I said that wrong. Not that those positions were not needed, but just because of the way that business was structured.
The way that you said it is the way that I would say it. Because
Yeah, no,
the way
we
I
understand
feel
what you meant.
about
Yes.
certain
So
tiers
if
of
we didn't have a
management,
dining room full of people, like we were making cuts.
Yeah.
So at that point, you went from cutting your staff to not being open. There was roundtables of discussions as far as like, where is this going?
Do you pivot to carry out? Do you do-
Exactly. And
yeah.
we did. And this was a 1 Michelin pre-theater restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, we weren't doing pre-theater. I remember getting the call like, okay, well, there's no more shows. There's no more theater.
Right.
Clean the freezer out. We don't need any of that stuff.
Right.
I feel like it became real when we got directly impacted by it. Like in the food service industry, everyone was like, oh, like whatever. And then as soon as it starts impacting you, you're like, oh shit, like this is real. And I feel like
Right.
New York took a really long time to come to that conclusion.
very long. I
conclusion.
think you guys kind of started the
we started
movement before
2 or 3
we
weeks
did.
before they started like talking about it more so in New York. It was like almost like a month delay.
Yeah.
But New York just different. Y'all
Yeah, it
rats
was.
be crazy. New York.
So
girl.
as soon as everything was I don't want to say to like a bare minimum, but I mean, there was days where it was like, okay, we'll bake off a couple to go chocolate chip cookies and brownies. We'll spin a few pints of ice cream. Everyone
Yeah.
was trying to do what they
Yeah.
thought was going to sell to go,
Yeah.
or people were going to call in and DoorDash. But there's a whole nother back end to these delivery systems
Oh yeah,
and what it
'cause,
all
that's a
entails.
different business model, and
Completely.
I mean, when you engage that business model specifically, I mean, you have to rework the business model that you're familiar
Everything.
with. Yeah,
So now we were this pre-theater restaurant. Who was doing it to go? And as much
Yeah.
as everyone loves certain staple dishes, it was happening. But then we became this,
they don't travel
oh, well, maybe
or,
we'll
like,
do
things like
this
that.
chicken sandwich or we'll do this pasta to go. And we were still doing, bread to go and all the other things that we thought were going to sell. And it just didn't happen. So my position as pastry sous ended up getting cut. And this was around Easter. And we were trying to sell Easter baskets, like the big chocolate egg with marshmallows and fun confections that would sell. So people would buy these Easter baskets that were curated for the holiday.
Yeah. And I just have a quick question about the demographic, right? So the people that you're interacting with, I mean, would you say that they were the people that were truly affected by COVID? Because it's still luxury.
Sure.
Right?
I think to a certain extent, as far as the clientele,
and I say that respectfully.
The clientele was a bit different. I mean, we were in Manhattan. Yeah. So, to go order that might be $125 was doable, right? It didn't seem too out of reach.
Right.
As far as like the employees, my biggest fear was, and I say this respectfully, more geared towards myself. I have never been on unemployment. I've never had to apply for it. I've always worked very hard.
Yeah.
And I've always done what I needed to do to make good money. So once I started hearing the conversations on unemployment and what people were going to have to do, and maybe you should go to this bakery and get like a backdoor job, and maybe they'll pay you in cash. I mean, there was a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm an empath, but like, I just want people to be taken care of. Like I wanted to know that they were going to be okay, because I wasn't going to see them every day. When you work in a restaurant and your staff is basically your second family, you worry.
Right.
And when my position got let go, I was embarrassed. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, people need to eat food. Restaurants need to be open. And I applied for unemployment and I didn't get it. I was denied unemployment. I literally got a statement from New York City mailed to me to my apartment that denied me from unemployment.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still,
because
this day, don't know why.
For people that do not understand how unemployment works, you pay into unemployment.
Yeah.
That is a benefit.
Yeah.
And things that we
your
have
money.
to... Yes, that's literally your money.
That's crazy.
So what we have spoken about in the past is like the integrity of it all. Like when you need assistance, you pay into assistance.
So when you need the assistance, it's like, where is it?
Exactly.
Right?
And it should never be up to anyone to deny you of your right of assistance ever.
That's the same energy that I had. I would rather find a new job than have to deal with unemployment.
For unemployment.
My whole career. And then I did 3 odd jobs
but
during.
I think that's bullshit. I hate it so much.
No, that's just the work ethic that was instilled in me, especially being a person of color.
Exactly.
And not being African American, being Caribbean, is that your family is you don't want to be those lazy people, whoever it might be, but it's not that. It's it's literally assistance. And after a year and a half of doing odd jobs and then doing my own hot sauce and stuff, it was Trini Zaddy.
Yes.
I was having a mental breakdown because I went from being an executive chef to going into stage for a sous chef position at Mitakoya, and shout out to Mitakoya. But they couldn't bring me on because it was right when we went into lockdown. And everyone had to start pivoting and making these changes. So I had 65 days of not doing anything after working for almost a year at roughly 90 to 100 hours a week.
I completely know exactly what you're talking about. I felt like I lost myself.
Yes.
Right.
We're so used to the hustle and bustle of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Being
constant adrenaline.
Exactly, adrenaline. And I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So you sit with yourself, you sit with your thoughts.
But that typically becomes a threshold of success, right? Like the more stressed out you are,
Higher performance.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, if I'm this high octane individual, then I will garner, you know, X amount of result. But that's not sustainable.
No.
No. So segueing into like the moving back, as soon as I did not receive unemployment, did I get PUA? Yes. Like that's 600 that came every so often
Right.
that everybody got, or I assume that everybody got. Yes, I did receive that. But after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, you know, calling the company every so often, hey, are we getting our jobs back? When is the restaurant opening? Nobody had answers.
Right.
And it became real when I was on the subway and was the only person in my train car. I remember tears rolling down my eyes,
Yep.
thinking, I do not feel like myself. What am I doing?
You're in like this dystopia.
It's like you're
what is
crawling
this
out of your own
thing?
skin.
Yeah.
And so at that point,
You're like, this can't be real.
talking with family, talking with people in the business and in hospitality and where this was actually going and the question marks being there and not knowing what to do, it was easier to go back home.
Yep.
So home is, I was going to say Naperville, but now it's Chicago because
Okay.
my parents sold
I was going to say
the
home is where the
house.
heart is.
Yes. Home is where you are.
Yes.
So yes, my parents had sold the house a while ago, but my family does live down here in the South Loop. And when I came back home, I ended up getting a phone call to be a specialty pastry chef at the Masters tournament the year of
shit.
2020 for COVID.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that kind of brought me back to life. You know, I was not in a kitchen for almost a whole entire year. You know, the fears that set in your mind, which fear is an illusion for anyone listening.
Oh.
It definitely was one of
No,
those
Reba.
like question marks where is, can I do this again? Like, what's it like being in a kitchen? I haven't stood up for, 15 hours a day
yeah.
and
Yeah,
in a year, Do I still remember how to make a pat of bomb? Do I still remember how to make, mousses and tempering chocolate? And you go into this spiral.
I made a béarnaise sauce the other day just to see if I remembered how to do it.
Isn't it crazy the things you put your own mind?
I was like, do
into,
I know
like-
how to do this? And I
It's
just like,
torture.
yeah.
It's complete mental torture. So I ended up doing that in 2020, and I've done 3 tournaments since. It's been an amazing
Damn,
opportunity.
congratulations.
So
That's- yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Masters, PGA, love it. And I think it was that same year after I came back from the Masters 2020, Gibson's called. I did a year at Gibson's Italia, built their breads program, introduced some new desserts. And a year into it, just decided I wasn't happy with what I was doing. It was very high volume production. Super blessed for the opportunities and doors that opened there. But I think we all know with what aligns in our careers and our beings
doesn't.
and ourselves. And at that point, it was time to move on. So now I am with the Boca Hospitality Group.
Great.
And
Wonderful.
I run GT Fish and Oyster and GT Prime's pastry department. And I just signed on to catering. So I'm a busy girl now.
Yes.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
No,
Yes.
I love that whole journey.
Yeah. I
It
love
is a
good
journey.
I do.
Come around and come up. Because it's never like, it's never about where you're going.
It's about
It's
the
journey.
the journey to the
whole-
destination.
Yeah. But like, that's definitely a
You have to
test
be
of will.
patient.
Yes.
And that's what
How
I'm
do you
learning.
do that? How, as a Leo, are you patient?
It's funny because I do hypnotherapy once a month.
Okay, yes, we
Okay,
did talk
wait.
about this. Yes.
And he was telling me, he's like, you have to be patient. Like that was one of my hypnosis because my personality, I want things now. I am not patient. And again, going back to if I want
No.
it, I will make it happen.
The evolution of a Leo.
Yes.
I was about to be
So-
like, why is this? And then now I realize it's because you have achieved what takes fire signs a long ass time to do, which is learning how to like slow the fuck down in your wants and desires. You still have them.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not like, the energy isn't radiating from your skin as intensely as usual.
So yes, that is the lesson being learned right now, currently, is being patient.
Yep.
And I will say, you know, like we segued into in the beginning of these conversations we just had, writing it down, pen to paper, manifesting it, believing that it can and will happen for you.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the process. And the best thing you can do is work on yourself, be good to the people that work with you and for you. And
Absolutely.
you gotta be good to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That main part.
Yeah. So I'm not going to do the sigh.
I know. I'm like, I feel like we're pushing it.
Yeah.
But okay, so I will say this before we start the wind down. That, God damn it, you shook my brain and now I can't remember what I was going to say. What were we just talking about? We were talking about manifestation. We were talking about energy, patience, learning to
Hypnotherapy.
Be patient. Yeah.
oh my God, I hate this part.
You were talking about Leos.
No. Keep going. Just start talking and I know it'll come back. It's like the walk-in syndrome. Yeah. When you go into the walk-in and your brain is
You're
just like,
what was I looking
why the
for?
hell am I in here?
This broccoli looks amazing. Like,
I walked all this way just to look at that.
I'm just so excited that this is cultivated from us meeting at the James Beard Media Awards.
Oh, absolutely.
God.
Yeah.
James
That was a
Beard
fun
movie.
event,
That
which
was-
also was written in the Manifestation Journal. Thank you, Valrona and James Beard. And God, that was an amazing experience.
Yes.
I remember what I was going to say.
Yes.
Okay. So I was going to say, like, oh!
For
It happened again. Don't look at Justin, okay? Just look at me. Don't look at Justin. Look at me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But yes, we met at the Media Awards.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think you told me you didn't like ice cream or something. And because I made those mini ice cream cones.
Yeah.
It was the cones from La Rose Noire, which thank you, Chef's Warehouse, for. You bugged them a lot. It was like, I need these cones. I need them now.
Yeah.
Now.
Right.
God, that was.
Where
Months worth
where was
of
where was the
finding.
patience?
There was none. It was
Just
literally
kidding.
like, we need to find it. This is what
It
I'm going
needs
to
to
do.
happen.
So
Yeah, it needs to
you
happen.
don't know this, but the
Yeah.
original idea for what was going to be served, we had to backtrack because someone else was serving chocolate cake. So, long story short, I literally said, we should do like a Choco Taco. And I was going to do ice cream. And it just so happens that how many weeks later,
Yeah.
the Choco Taco thing
Disappeared.
disappeared. So
Everybody
I got
with
with
their crocodile tears.
yes.
They're like, I cannot believe that this is going away. I was just like, tell me the last time
You had one.
actually had a Choco Taco.
I can tell you exactly the last time I had a chocolate
I
taco.
am not referring to you specifically. I am talking about these people that have lost their minds about like blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, the ice cream truck rolls around. Hear me. You have all of these options. How many times have you ordered a Choco Taco from the ice cream truck? Don't lie to me. But
Fair
you're
enough.
crying on the internet about it. Casey, continue.
Okay, so
Okay,
it
I
ended
know
up
what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
it ended up
go.
not being
we're
a Choco
talking
Taco.
about we were talking about manifesting things, believing that it's going to happen, doing that whole situation. We are still in a place where mentally in my brain, like the podcast is I'm just like, I'm doing this every 2 weeks. We're recording episodes, we're doing the thing, but it doesn't feel real to me all the time. I know this is a point of contention for Justin because
it's fine.
we're like
Very
in it.
real.
We're doing
We're here.
stuff.
You've
we're
arrived.
here.
We are going
Yeah.
to events.
Yeah.
James Beard, when
Yeah.
you were like, we're going to like some after parties, I was like dying
Yes,
on the
baby, let's
inside.
It's the most amazing
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
But I was just like, in my brain, I don't know why. It's just like,
Nuriba, you have to allow yourself to be seen. Yeah.
it just feels weird. I feel like,
you need to be okay with taking the compliments and digesting them and realizing that this is a season and a period of your life that all of these doors are connecting And there's so many bigger things that are going to happen because of this podcast.
Well, I feel like
you guys are connecting people, connecting conversations,
yes.
connecting likes and dislikes, and people get to tell a story that they may never be able to,
And they get
or
to
be
tell
comfortable
their
with.
story.
Yes.
And as crazy as some of our stories are not crazy, and everyone's got something to tell and contribute, but so do you. Like this is a
That
part
just
of your
warms my
story and your
entire
journey.
soul.
I know that, but it just like doesn't connect in my brain. You know,
Well
it's just
connected,
like,
girl.
Yes,
'Cause it's
exactly. And you
happening.
know what? And we're gonna work on that. And
I mean, we
so-
are. This is
yes.
fucking season 3. I need to
Yes.
get it together.
Yes.
So
And
let me
like-
ask this: were you there at James Beard?
I didn't go to the award ceremony, but
we're
Oh, damn,
at-
you
Justin
missed the
scooped me
cones.
afterwards. I know.
You missed the cones.
I was
Yeah.
working.
You know what connected
Sorry.
us? You didn't
Beer
you said
wenching?
something about the cones, but
Oh.
you did say something about them. You were awesome. You were open, like an open book. Again, you were just like, you had an opinion and you're like, this looks great. But what attracted you to my table was the "Do What You Love" sign. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yes, I do.
I had a neon sign and it said "Do What You Love," and that's where the real connection
Yeah.
came in. And I do love
Big
what I do.
Aquarius
Yeah.
energy.
You know, the best part of my job specifically as a pastry chef is I get to celebrate life's best moments with people.
That
mean-
is beautiful.
I literally was like, this drink is called
Yes.
Shoot to the Moon.
I love that.
And I'm like,
It's shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon.
It's shoot
Sorry,
the moon. But
shoot the moon,
but hold on. I have a perfect play on this because we are reaching time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Casey, how was your time with us?
Fabulous.
Thank you. So, Nariba, accept that and take it.
I mean, you ate the whole compliment, so
I ate it enough for the both of us.
That's what I'm
because,
saying.
I mean, you know, it's just like it's a thing, and we want you to feel heard and respected, and that's. I mean,
we want that for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
everyone's journey is different. Like I said, everyone has something different to contribute. And, you know, it might not be what people think is a realistic journey of what a pastry chef, you know, upcoming
But none
and
of our
does.
journeys
And
look the same,
no, not at all. And
and we never get to tell all the other parts that aren't food related that make up the whole.
absolutely. And the perception of what the ideal pastry chef looks like, or people will go on social media and, you know, perceive you a certain way and not really know the backstory of something. And it's a beautiful thing to share your story and your journey and be able to connect with people. I mean,
Absolutely.
hell, we're friends now.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
glad
Oh, yeah.
that you're the social part of the two of us. Like, I do really well in situations. I'm like, here, on it. But Justin is like a social dragon,
Oh my gosh.
just slaying bitches left
Okay,
and right.
you know what?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
He took the compliment.
I like to hype him up.
Okay,
I like to hype
appreciate
people
it.
up.
Thank you.
You're the hype girl.
Yes, yes. So
Well, on that note, should we cheers with
Cheers.
the
yeah,
drink?
so we will cheers, but also we are going
Twice in the
to-
same episode? I thought you were going to say chairs.
No,
Okay.
no. As we wrap, Casey, where can the people find you?
Yes. So GT Fish and Prime, GT catering. But I mean, I'm just come say hi. Just,
Wait, do you have oysters?
They do. So GT Fish,
Yeah.
Fish and Oyster is one separate entity. GT Prime is all things steak. We still have oysters there too.
On Wednesday, I said that I was going to celebrate getting my teeth cleaned by getting oysters.
Why didn't
So
you
I might
come
come and
by?
find. Oh no, it's this Wednesday
Oh.
coming up.
Fantastic. Come for happy hour and desserts. We do happy hour over
I'll
there.
come find you.
Yes.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. And if you have an event that you need catered, Tintori Catering.
I know now you're here.
Hopefully, Chef, you don't get mad at me for
No, we're out here slinging it.
swagging us out,
Yeah,
but
I'm just like,
he's so
it's
funny.
fine.
I love him.
Yeah.
Hello, Giuseppe.
Yes. Hello.
But yes, GT, all things GT. We have an amazing dessert menu. And I'm telling you, I feel like some of this is my best work.
I mean,
I love that.
I love a good dessert, but I could only
If
have
it looks
one.
pretty and tastes good, It's a double win.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
You're winning all day. Also, do you want the people to find you on the social medias?
Yes, let's connect and be friends. So at CNDOODY,
Perfect.
find me, say hello. You'll know it's me because my tagline up top is anything but predictable.
You know what? Goddamn.
You know, here for all of this. So, as I begin to do the things that we know to do, let me start off first and foremost by thanking you, Casey, for sharing space and, you know, truly being open and authentic with your journey. Like, that is so valuable to us. So thank you.
No, thank you. This has been in the works since what, May?
Yeah.
That
And
was
here we are.
May?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And so thank you to our wonderful friends here at Blind Barber for hosting this necessary conversation. Also, shout out to our friends at Corey Ice for being the secret ingredient in all cocktails. Because what's great about Corey Ice is that they are a second chance program and they cut their ice from the same steel as samurai swords. So that's dope as hell. And I think that this is the perfect note to end with this wonderful beverage called Shoot the Moon from Miss Perfect Pour, also Miss Cheyenne English. So thank you.
Damn.
And so bourbon, plum juice, vanilla syrup, lemon, and it is a reminder to reach for the stars and do what makes you happy, which is a perfect culmination to this entire conversation. And on that note, I am Justin Arnett Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at ThisIsBiko.
And my name is Nariba Shepherd. Obviously, I'm your girl. You can find me at Rebaru, REBARU, on the gram. I look forward to seeing y'all next. Bye, guys.
Cheers!
Oh my God. With all the jokes that I send you in DMs, you would think
so
that, like,
fun.
you would find something new from them.
No, it's fine.
God.
Cheers. Thank you guys so much.
No, thank you.
This is very, very,
Cheyenne.
very good.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not even a bourbon bitch.